Hi students, welcome back to the second episode of our fifth chapter, Fundamental Unit of Life. In the last episode, we have studied about the main parts of the cell and the history of the cell, the invention of the cell. These things we have studied. And in today's class, we are going to study the other components present in a live cell. Let's know it's like when we study in the beginning, we studied one concept is division of labor. In a multicellular organism, varieties of activities, different activities performed in the body is distributed among various organs, organ systems. The same concept, let's bring back to in a very concentrated form to a cell. Within a cell also there are many activities performed and these functions are also distributed among various small components. These little membrane bound components are called organelles. Cell organelles. So let us study one by one each of them. So here the first cell organelle is endoplasmic reticulum. So this endoplasmic reticulum is a very important organelle in the cell. See the different responsibilities and the characteristics, features, duty that ER, it is shortly called ER, is performed in a cell. This is by nature, it's a network of membrane bound tubes and sheets. So ER is a membrane bound substance and it is a tubes and sheet like structure. And another is it looks very similar to a plasma membrane. We studied what is plasma membrane in the last class. And this ER by structure looks like a plasma membrane. Why? Because it's also membrane bound substance structure. That's why. And when we speak about ER is of two types. That is RER and SER. What is RER? Some type of ER, the outer surface is covered with some ribosomes. That gives a rough nature to the ER, which is very responsible of manufacturing some particular proteins, and this particular protein is transported by endoplasmic reticulum to the various areas of the cell. So that is what rough endoplasmic reticulum, RER. And what is this particular one is carried out, this production of the RER, that is the protein, is transported by ER to the various parts of the cell. Next is endoplasmic reticulum helps in transporting proteins within the cell. So it is a transporting system of the cell. That is the main responsibility that ER performs. Next one is SER. That means smooth endoplasmic reticulum, SER. It helps in manufacturing fat, lipids for the functioning of the cell. So fats are there, lipids are the components we will study in coming session, and these things are mainly manufactured, produced by SER, and these are very necessary things for the well functioning of the cell. So the various activities in the cell are supported by the production that is made by SER, that is called the fat and lipids. Now SER has got one more function is there, not in all organism, it is mainly in vertebrate organism. SER performing a very important role is that detoxifying. What is detoxifying? So that the activity is performed within the liver of a vertebrate organism. What is liver cells have got any toxin like substances, any poisonous substances, any extra drug substances there, that will be minimized, that will be detoxified, the poisonous effect will be reduced. This is also performed by SER in vertebrate organisms in the liver. So these are the main functions performed by endoplasmic reticulum in the cell. Now let's see the next organelle of the cell, that is Golgi apparatus, and how it is performing. Golgi apparatus is very closely, very nearly associated in functioning with the ER, endoplasmic reticulum, in all their activities. Why? Because it stores, which one? Golgi apparatus stores, packs and carries, distributes all the synthesized materials in and out of the cell. That's the main difference of Golgi apparatus, because ER carries and transport materials within the cell, but here Golgi apparatus carries, stores and packs and distribute the synthesized material in and out of the cell. So it has got a wide range of distribution. That is what Golgi apparatus perform. Another is, it helps in the formation of complex sugar. Some cases, some complex form of sugar is made from simple form of sugar within the cell, and it also helps in the formation of lysosome, is another organ. So for these all are the main important function that Golgi apparatus performs in the cell. Now let's see what is lysosome. So lysosomes are waste disposal system of the cell. So they are conducting all dispersing system of waste products in the cell. When many activities are performed in the cell, metabolism is done, some waste materials are obviously produced, and these waste things are systematically disposed by lysosome. How? They contain powerful digestive enzymes within them, and they break down these all materials using the powerful digestive enzymes. So this way the waste materials are vanished, and they are also called suicide bags, because when waste materials are accumulated in the cell, this lysosome bursts itself, releasing the enzymes to break down the waste materials, and they die themselves in order to disperse this waste. That's why these lysosomes are called suicide bags of the cell. This is the very peculiar function that lysosome perform in the cell. Yes, student. Here is the next organelle of the cell, that is mitochondria. This is another important organelle in the cell, because this is the powerhouse of the cell. The energy required for the cell is produced by mitochondria. That's why it's called a powerhouse of the cell. And it produced in the form of ATP molecules. What is ATP molecule? That's a energy unit used by a cell. The different currency, different amount of energy used by the cell is measured in the ATP units. So that is why this is the powerhouse. And this mitochondria has two membrane covering, not of one. It has got a two covering, and the outer covering is a porous. It's having a lot of holes type covering is there. But the inner covering of the mitochondria is deeply folded, and this huge number of folds help the mitochondria to react with chemical reaction in order to produce energy and ATP. That's why these folds of the inner covering helps the mitochondria to react and produce energy. And the fourth point of this mitochondria is, it has its own DNA. Than the other organelles, it produces its own DNA and ribosomes. So it is able to produce its own protein. So it has got a special protein for this particular organelle to perform with the help of the DNA and ribosomes present in it. This is why a very strange thing related with the mitochondria. Whereas the other organelles do not have this peculiarity, this particularity. That's why it's a very specific character of mitochondria, that they have a special DNA, their own DNA, and ribosomes which help them to produce their own protein. Here is the fifth organelle of the cell is plastids. Let's see what are the different benefits of plastids. It is present only in plant cell. That's the first thing we can notice. And there are two types of. They are present, they are natural. Because of that, they are in two types. That is chromoplast plastids and leucoplast plastids. What is chromoplast means? Which has got some color substances. Their colored substances are there. Those plastids are called plastids. And leucoplast means either they are white in color or colorless. This is the main difference between these two types of plastids. And plastids with chlorophyll, green pigment, such chloroplastids are called chloroplast, and we know that that's a very necessary important thing for the green plants in order to conduct photosynthesis. Yeah, that's why chloroplast is because what is a green pigment present in that called chlorophyll. Such type of plastids are called chloroplast. And whereas leucoplast is are primary organelles. They have a storing nature. They store starch, oil, protein, etc. for the cell. So these are the two different types of plastids present in a cell. And the last organelle of the cell is vacuole. So vacuole is the real storage home, storage sacs of the cell. So they are very small. They are very small in animal cells and large or big in size in plant cells. They occupy 50 to 90% of the total volume of the cell in plants they occupy. But whereas these vacuoles are very small in size in animal cells. And they give a turgidity and rigidity to the cell. So because of the presence of this vacuole, the plant cells are hard in nature, rigid in nature. So the rigidity and rigidity of the cell is because of the presence of vacuoles in the cell. So these all are the main cell organelles present in a cell. And these small units, they conduct various activities, dividing or sharing the labor of the cell, and this all together, all these activities together performed in a cell called a cellular activity. So the cellular activity is present only in a live cell. This is possible because of the various components, organelles present in a cell, which functions as a functional unit of the cell. That's why the heading of the chapter says cell is a functional, a fundamental unit of life. And these varieties of activities, the types of activities performed by different organelles make the cell live. And all type of metabolism performed in the cell with the help of these all cell organelles. So here the chapter is over, and in the last chapters I have given you last episode I have given you many questions. I hope that you have worked it out and learned. And today also I will proceed with certain questions of the remaining portion, and you must do it on your fair copy, and you read maximum more times the books and underline more points and learn well and make the chapter your own. Thank you. Have a nice day.